when we got here, but I didn't have the pleasure of like JT and them, when all the boys were back home playing. No, so I didn't have that luxury of actually playing.
Yeah.
But when I got here as an entertainer, I was very, very lucky and fortunate to stumble onto the NRL, and I became a resident entertainer at Wynnum Manly League Club. That was back in Greg Dowling and Wally Lewis, and then we're all there,
Wow.
Greg Dowling. And then I also was one of the resident entertainers at the Redcliffe Dolphins, which was the home of Seven Receiver, so Wally Fullerton Smith. And then when I started touring Australia with my band, every little town we went to, a couple of the pubs there were owned by, like over here in Australia, it's a big thing for your ex-footy players to buy pubs.
Okay.
Darren Lockyer's got 3 or 4 pubs. Alfie Langer's got a couple of pubs. Shane Webke owned pubs, Benny Eichen. A lot of the old State of Origin, Chris Choppy Close. So I got the pleasure of working for these guys as we travelled around Australia. So every pub we went to, it wasn't anything for us to be sitting there having lunch and Kerrod Walters would walk in, Benny Ella, the Pearl. These guys were always hanging together.
Okay. And
most of the time I was working for guys that were immortals, or back in the day, Brian Fitzgibbon, the guy one of the first, Billy, that owned the first owner of the Cowboys. So we got to mingle with all these guys that were, league legends, and through them, Kenny Churchill, spent a lot of time working with them.
Okay, cool.
But not as a player. No,
Right.
I never had the luxury or the pleasure of that. But through my work in the entertainment business, I got to meet just about all of them.
Right.
Play at all their functions. And,
Yeah. So you would have had a good chinwag with a lot of the legends of rugby league then, eh?
A lot of them, mate. Lots and lots of them. Like I played in a big show band called Wickety Whack, which was very huge over here.
Mm-hmm.
And where we used to play, like at the big New South Wales clubs, we'd have them come visit us before. We'd all go out to the green room and have dinner before the show, and there'd be Wally Lewis, Johnny Rebo, Greg Dowling, Wally Fullerton Smith. They'd all come down because we were all part of what they were doing.
Okay.
So we used to do the halftime entertainment at Seagulls, or when it went to Super League and we were up at ANZ Stadium, we'd do a lot of the halftime entertainment, and then of course get the pleasure of spending a couple of hours with the guys after having a few beers. And I worked with Petro Seven Receiver's dad.
Wow.
So we got to meet a lot of them and spend time with them and chat with them. They were very generous with their time and their stories.
Cool, excellent. What about you, Ra? Have you ever graced a rugby league field yourself there, bro?
Yeah, well, that was the first game I ever played when I was about 7, I think, before I switched coach to rugby, as you do here in Gisborne, New Zealand. But league was the first game I played, and then half my brothers played league. Willie might know my older brother back around the 80s. He played for Midway and Niwa, and was also in a couple of bands around here, George Walker. I know George. So I come from half and half sort of whānau, as we had a lot of here and up the coast. I remember the days when some of the cousins, we would play rugby on the Saturday, and then you'd sort of switch codes and play rugby on the Sunday. Those were the good old days. You couldn't do that in too many places, and I don't even know if you can do that now with how they're pretty much segregated.
Well,
segregated or
young boys can.
Nowadays,
young boys can do that. Like Reno's young Moko, for instance. Yeah. So that was the first game, like myself, because that was the first game I ever played too, was a rugby league for the Paikea Whalers. Who was your team there, Ra?
We listed. I remember Mr. Martin was our coach. It was just a made-up team when I grew up around the Rodale Mangapapa area, and we put up a team against a young Kaiti side, and I think we got hammered. But yeah, and it was probably the last 1 or 2, 3 games of league I ever played. My older brothers sort of wanted me to play for Uawa, the Nasties when I got a bit older, but I was playing rugby and making a few rep teams there, so I wasn't too keen back in those days because when I go down to the local league games, it was more like a punching match on the field, And bizarrely enough, a lot of them were like whānau, like a lot of my whānau from Kaiti, the Greys, were up against their own whānau in the Uawa team, so it was kind of real strange days, those days. But, after the match, all the cousins would all get together and just sort of, have a good laugh about it.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, also, because I can't I do remember playing league in high school. For Lytton. Now, Boys High didn't have a team in the competition for obvious reasons, JT. They wouldn't have a Boys High team in the competition, in the Rugby League competition in Gisborne. But, so I think we were playing, gosh, I can't remember, must have been Campion, maybe Waikahu. So that's what I remember. Also, there was a big, I think this was a few years ago, maybe 2006 or 7, when they also had another rugby league tournament here. And I remember playing in that for about 3 or 4 weeks, which was different and interesting. I was playing for the Pirates rugby team. Our Pirates rugby team obviously threw together a team into this tournament, just to restart, I guess, or rejuvenate rugby league back in the day. And that was an interesting sort of like thing, because we were playing rugby tactics in rugby league, and it was no wonder that we were losing. But it was our fitness, I think, that kind of kept us, because it was the end of the season. So yeah, it's just maybe you can reminisce a bit about your rugby league. I don't know what you'd call it, career there, JT?
Yeah, well, I spent a lot of my youth in Korerua, so as a young fella, we were part of the inaugural Waitangi Vikings Rugby League club set up, junior grades. Then we moved up to the coast, so ended up playing rugby up there. Then I went to boarding school at Te Aute, and obviously rugby is number one there. But in my 5th form year, we ended up starting up a rugby league team. It was in protest against the Cavaliers tour to South Africa.
Right.
So we're talking 1986, I think it was. So just as a few of us were politically minded back then, we said, no, stuff this. We're going to protest and start up a rugby league team. So we enlisted the help of the Waipukaro Rams, the president and the coach was a bloke called Nabi Pekapo, who was the president of the Waipukaro Central Hawke's Bay Mongrel Mob.
Right.
We went out of training school, so just down the road from Te Aute is Pukio Primary School, so we used to go down there and train. And ended up playing rugby league there, which was good. It was my first love. And then went back home to Gizzy and played for the Kaiti Devils. I was 17 or 18, and I'll tell you what, mate, I was crapping myself every time I took the field because I was a kid playing against men in a man's game. And,
yes. Yeah.
You've been through a game when you play against the likes of the Tuanga Panthers, and they got big Fred Bishop and playing against you, and you come out. If you come out the other end, then well done. If not, then I don't know, go back to the but mate, love rugby league. Friends of ours, the Rickard family, the late Claude Rickard, said, we're going to start a team out at Manatuki, the Mustangs.
Right.
Their son Calvin is my daughter's godfather, so we're very, very good friends. And I said, a few of us went out there to play with the Mustangs, and that was a great couple of years out there. Then we moved over here, played down in Melbourne for a bit, but sort of gave it away to concentrate on work because, we had a young family then, young kids, and Lois is the sensible person in our relationship. She said, rugby league's not going to pay the bills. Yeah. Pay the bills, so, go get a job and, ended up, concentrating on work. But, always loved the game, and when we moved to Queensland, I bumped into a bloke that played over 35, so I had a couple of tops out there and threw the ball around, and then by then my young fella was playing himself, so yeah, mate, it's been a good journey in rugby league, and always, been a Storm supporter since they started back in '98, and always loved the game. given so much joy, and I just think it's tailor-made for us Polynesian people.
Sure.
You know, rugby might be a game of choice for a lot of people, but there's just too much technical aspects with all the rucking and walking and scrummaging, all that carry on. I think we're tailor-made to get the ball under our arm and just run with them.
Yes. I agree.
So, that's me.
And there's more tackling, I think, hey? There's more tackling, you especially for forwards, especially in rugby in particular, for front row forwards. There's been games where I don't even get to touch the ball, at all, sometimes for some games. Whereas in rugby league, the props, the big guys, they're always carting the ball up. And there's also a lot more tackles.
Are you trying to tell me you're a front rower?
Obviously.
On your back teeth.
And on that note, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back with more Full Time right after this. On behalf of the full-timers, I would just like to say big thanks to Joachim Currid, who brings us our music intro. Check him out on joachimcurrid.com. He's also on YouTube, Twitter, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, Spotify, Instagram, and follow him on Facebook. Another big thanks goes out to Silent Partner, who brings us our outro. Check out their music on YouTube. And also thanks must go to the Polish Ambassador for the backing music for this promo. Check out the Polish Ambassador on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Beatport, Instagram, Twitter, and on his website, thepolishambassador.com.
You're listening to a podcast produced by Tūrangi FM, number one iwi radio station in Aotearoa. We play each full-time session on Tūrangi FM Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. You can listen in live on our Tūrangi FM media page. Just click the main Tūrangi FM logo to tune in online. Or if you're in the Gisborne area, we're on the radio frequencies 91.7, 95.7 and 98.1. Also check out the Full-Time Facebook page where you can listen to the podcast again. Make comments and click links that will lead you to other ways to listen to the podcast, such as Spreaker, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, Podchaser and Tumblr. Right, let's get back to the Fools on Full-Time.
Welcome back to our second session here on Full Time, and of course, I'd like to send a shout out once again, going out to our sponsors, Race Scrag Motors. They're down there on Grey Street. Also, before we get back into it, want to send a shout out to my nephew, Te Kehu Brown, who yesterday attended the boys' high school ball. So you look pretty flash, like his uncle, I dare say. He looked pretty flash like his uncle back in the day. Anyway, so big kia ora going out to all of you. And of course, big kia ora once again going out to our special guest joining us this morning. We've got Willy James. It's always great to have you back there, Willy.
Yeah, good to be here, brother. Good to be here.
And you're coming back. So you've spent like 40 years. We were talking off air during the break. You've been over in Aussie for like 40 years?
Nearly 40 years, yeah.
Wow.
Long time.
A long time, all right.
Yeah.
How different is Aussie now from what it was back then?
It's very, very different now. Very. I came over in the boom in the 80s.
Right.
Early 80s, everyone was coming over. So, it's a lot different now. Well, there's more Māoris here now. You go down a shopping centre, you get a sore eyebrows from Chirbo. You know, you're just going to get a